our traditional role, what I can call our cardinal role, is to keep offenders under humane conditions, rehabilitate them, and prepare them for reintegration after release. But along that, the other non-traditional roles we are playing as Uganda Prison Service, among which is the farming component. Farming component has majorly two functions under Uganda Prison Service. We have the rehabilitative role that contributes to rehabilitating the offenders so they're equipped with skills which can enable them to earn a living after release. Then another component is to generate revenue for government and also to save government expenditure on feeding offenders while in custody. As a prisons department, we do several enterprises, among which we have grain production, majorly for feeding the offenders. We have seed production for providing planting materials to the country. We have cotton production to provide cotton as a raw material to textile industries in the country. We have livestock. We have forestation and environmental management. We have oil seeds, where we have sunflower, we have soybean, and others. And then so recently we have also started on coffee production, whereby we're also trying to contribute to cash crop production in the country, majorly in the north, because of our farm at Rututuru. On cotton, actually we have been collaborating with Cotton Development Organization, and we had an MOU with them to produce cotton for the country. And as prisons, actually have been the major producer of cotton seed for the country. We have been producing raw cotton seed, and then which is handed over to CDO, who collaborates with the geners to gene and provide seed cotton for planting by farmers in the country. This season, 2024, which we are concluding, we had a total acreage of 5,700 acres of cotton. And this season was very unique because we planted our locally bred cotton by our Ugandan scientists. It was bred by our scientists who were managed by CDO. And the variety they produced was 2015 BPA with very good potential for production, because actually if we're managed, we can produce up to 1,200 kgs per acre. It's a very good variety, and all the attributes indicate that actually it is a high-performing variety because it doesn't become too vegetative, and it is actually resilient to harsh conditions like moisture deficiency. It can still perform well under those harsh conditions, and we believe it is going to help us a lot in cotton production. At the service, seasonally we have been producing up to around 1,800,000 kgs of cotton, and that one gives us around 6,000 bales of cotton, which we have been selling to our geners here in the country to provide raw materials. But we have plans to also do ginning by ourselves so that we can add value to our cotton, because once we do ginning, then we shall earn more revenue for government than what we are doing right now, because right now we sell it raw to the geners. And again, when we do ginning, it will help us also to control the quality of seed, because now seed planting cotton will be in our hands to control the quality. We shall produce the raw cotton seed, gin it, then provide the seed, the cotton for planting, and also get other byproducts like cotton seed cake for animals, and then also sell the lint at a much higher value than currently. And seed also benefits our prisoners and staff because they acquire skills like in crop husbandry practices of cotton, pest management, and also post-harvest handling skills, which we keep our staff and prisoners with. Also, the communities neighboring us, they learn from what we are doing, the good practices, and they end up doing better. For example, if you look at Kasese area and Ruim area, most of the farmers who are neighboring our farms, they have copied the good farming practices and are doing much better compared to other regions, like for us who move around the country. You see, there is that impact actually coming in.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Of course, prisons being a government institution, we farm using a budget that is supported by Ministry of Finance, the government. So we have to get the budget, we buy the inputs through procurement processes, then after farming, actually what we get as NTL, we don't use it as prisons. It is banked on the consolidated account and is planned for by Ministry of Finance. Yes. The benefit from the project. Okay. No, cotton, unlike grain, where they feed on it directly and they see direct benefit, cotton is sold and then money is banked on the consolidated account, as I said. But also, as prisoners work on these farms, there's what we call prisoners earning scheme. Every day, prisoner who goes to the garden to work is paid. It is a small fee, but as an appreciation, government has put it there. Also, the way of encouraging them and also for their welfare. So there is that earning scheme. So every day they work, there's that earning scheme they get. And also, in order to encourage high performance, we encourage competition between different producing entities of the service. So those ones who perform better and go beyond the threshold of put for the winners, those ones who win, we appreciate them. And like for prisoners, we can always provide maybe like a cow, they throat and become happy. For staff, maybe some small monetary award for better performance. Like Mubuku you saw. One time they won, and we bought for them a pickup for the station to use to facilitate them in their day-to-day operations. Out of the good effort they put in, produce cotton. This financial year, 2023-24, actually we are still aggregating and finalizing our report, but I was checking, we have generated to the tune of around 26 billion from farming enterprises alone. Majorly grain, because grain, you see, when we feed on it, then we value it. That one becomes a non-tax revenue, and which is non-cash, because we have consumed it. But the government would have spent money to go and buy food, which have saved the government. So it is valued, and then it is made, it's returned as a non-cash, non-tax revenue generated by us. So we save government a lot of money they would have spent to go and buy food to keep these offenders. Actually, for us as a farming department, what we're looking at is doing farming as a business. We're looking at the cost-benefit analysis of the enterprise. If government has given us a budget, let's say they have funded us with 12 billion to invest in farming, what is the return on this investment? So that we don't just go and do it as a way of life. No. Can we bring revenue over and above what government has invested in us to produce? So whether we are producing food, whether we also have fruits, whether we are producing fruits, we are producing livestock, whether we are in forestation, in cotton and other enterprises, there must be value for money, there must be a return on investment. So that it doesn't become now a dead expenditure for government. And actually we are looking at now value addition. If you had passed at Ruimi, We have a silo project. We want to minimize the post-harvest losses we have been having. We have also another side project at Rogore. We believe when those ones become full operational, which is very soon, we shall save a lot that we have been losing post-harvest management. Because in Uganda, post-harvest management percentage is too high. It's over 30%. We lose it in post-harvest management. Once we have improved on that, then of course we shall add more value. And again, we shall have also processing. We process this food by ourselves. And at one point, actually, I remember our Minister of Internal Affairs, by that time, late Aronda, for him was of the view that what we produce was of high quality as prisons should be exported, and then we go and buy food from the market. And I think if we can up our game, that will bring more value to the country than what we are doing now. Thank you. On the issue of what we are getting back, what it is commensurate with what we are producing, I would say that actually the ball is in our court. If we produced much more efficiently and produced more, it will encourage even the government now to trust us and invest more in us. So we have to work hard, make sure that we show government that we are a viable undertaking, we are worth investing in. So that one there is actually on us to work hard and show government that if they invest in us, we shall return this government money with something over and above what they have invested in us. On future plans of how to improve production, actually mechanization is central to what we are doing. Because if you saw, like Mobuku, where you saw the cotton, we have 350 acres. You must have seen that that cotton was, we had to plow with a tractor. We have some motorized pumps for spraying the cotton. Then we have other big farms. Like Rugore, we are doing 1,200 acres of maize. We have gone to Aswa, where now we are doing, we are going to do 6,000 acres. All that we use machinery. But I must say that our level of mechanization, we are still at around 40%. We need to mechanize more. Because mechanization comes with efficiency, mechanization comes with time operations. So because our farming depends on nature. And the timing is very, very important when we are going to do farming depending on nature. And if you are going to do large operations, then you need to rely heavily on machinery. So, and we are investing heavily in machinery. We have the tractors for plowing, we have the planters, we have the sprayers. Now even we are trying to mechanize harvesting, especially of maize. We have a harvester, combined harvester. That is at Rugoli. If you go there, you get it there. And now that we have the silos, then we shall be using the combines, and then whenever they grind the silos, use the dryers to maintain the quality of the output. So mechanization is central. And if you are going to add value, then processing has to go in with mechanization. So mechanization is the way to go, because it will improve our capacity, it will expand our scale, and it will enable us at least leverage on the advantages that come with technology. So, actually, the biggest challenge that we face is farming depending on nature. With globalization, the world is becoming hotter and hotter, seasons are becoming unreliable. So we are facing a challenge of heavy losses in some seasons when the weather is not favorable. So we need to go irrigation so that we can use water-aided production so to minimize the losses, and we can improve on our consistency with production. Then also, of course, funding, like any other sector, is a limiting factor. We'd like to do much better than what we are doing, but of course here and there we get a limitation by funding in terms of acquisition of the right machinery, in terms of acquisition of the right quantity and quality of inputs. Then of course the challenge also of our labor. We heavily depend on prisoners. Prisoners don't go to prison willingly. So you find that supervising people who are working when actually they went to a prison unwillingly, you have those challenges. We have to invest heavily in our staff to supervise. Where there is weakness in supervision, we always don't get quality work. So it becomes a challenge, but we are trained to use a lot of our systems. We use dynamic security, we encourage these prisoners, we make sure they appreciate that this production is there to benefit them so that they can really engage in it with a positive mind. Then another challenge we have is that our farms are scattered all over the country. Right now we have 70 farms scattered over the country. Some of them are so small, with 10, 15 acres. So managing them becomes a challenge. If farming was to be in bigger blocks, like you find a farm of 10,000 acres, it would be easy to mechanize, it would be easy to manage. Like now we have one at Aswa, which the recently was given to us by Maif. We are seeing it is helping us because we concentrate our efforts and then we can easily manage and supervise. Then we have an issue which is now a national problem around grabbing. Even prison is not spared. So even when you have already started farming, you get these other intruders coming in, they disturb you, they grab part of the land, and it affects our operations. Then, of course, the issue of pests. You see, this globalization and the use of these chemicals, some of the pests are becoming now resistant. And especially like in cotton, we have a challenge with pest management, and we end up using a lot of chemicals, so production ends up being more expensive. Because I remember in the 90s, early 90s, we used to spray once or twice cotton until you get it. But these days you have to give around 3, 4, 5 rounds of spraying, and it's on the account that some pests are becoming resistant. And maybe another issue that we have, we are on seed. Actually, we are engaged so much in seed production. It is a recent assignment by the government, especially His Excellency the President, that we should provide quality and affordable seed to Ugandans. So we have started, majorly started with grain, that is maize. We have now added on soybean, also producing it as seed, and then of course cotton, which we are producing. The challenge we have there is on distribution. Most of our farmers don't use quality seeds. When it comes to paying for seed, they want to rely more on home-saved seeds. So we have a challenge with distribution. We produce it, but distributing it becomes a challenge. And then these farmers keep using those poor quality seeds and production keeps down. And yet, we feel we could make a bigger contribution in that area. For our supervisors, our superiors, for the support they always give us, because everybody in prisons really values farming. We look at it as our flagship that we have to present to Ugandans that we are doing this. We're also grateful to the government for the support they always provide to us. Because at least every time we raise a request, the government is always very positive and very supportive. It supports us in our farming efforts. And the little we are doing is actually out of the effort by government and the commitment by the entire prison service, because we work as a team. Those ones managing prisoners, those ones managing medical, we all combine because they all have a role to play in farming. So we're grateful to the entire service for the support they give us as a Department of Farms.